evening, everyone. We're now going to start our 7 p.m. City Council Subcommittee on Conference to be held on April 28th. The following subject matter will be discussed. Discuss fireworks complaints over summer holiday. Officials invited to attend the subcommittee is City Manager Tom Ambrosino, honorable members of the City Council, City Solicitor Cheryl Ann Watson, Chief Police Brian Keyes, all members of the public. At this time, I will ask the clerk to read the roll.
Councilor Vido, absent. Councilor Avellaneda.
Present.
Councilor Recupero. Councilor Garcia. Absent. Councilor Vega Maldonado. Absent. Councilor Robertson. Here. Councilor Rodriguez. Absent. Councilor Taylor. Here. Councilor Lopez. Here. Councilor Brown. Here. And Councilor Zabit.
Present.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 7 members present. You have a quorum.
Okay. This meeting is to discuss the complaints of fireworks over last summer. I know that Councilor Taylor, with assistance from our city solicitor, has come up with a proposal to implement fines for that, with that to be taken over by, or actually enforced by the local police department. I don't see Chief Keyes there, but
can't make it, no.
he couldn't make it. But we do see City Solicitor Cheryl Watson Fisher on, and I will allow Councilor Taylor first for his opening remarks, and then allow City Solicitor Cheryl Watson to speak. Councilor Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we all know last year's fireworks fiasco in the city, where people were setting off fireworks for months before the 4th and continuing past the 4th, loud fireworks, until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, all night, continuous barrage. I can't tell you, I never got such a public response in my life as to all the phone calls I got about that, and people were not just annoyed, but I mean, they have newborn babies that are trying to sleep, and they get scared. Their pets are traumatized. Their kids can't sleep. Nobody can sleep for weeks because of the noise. So, I think it's incumbent upon this body to act and to make sure that this never happens again, and that our citizens, can get a good night's sleep during the summer. And when there's this type of outcry, just so a few, inconsiderate, irresponsible individuals can cause this type of havoc in the entire city. It's not just my district; it was all over the city. So, I think it's incumbent upon us to act. And if it were up to me, I'd act more than we're legally able to. But I'll turn it over to the city solicitor to talk about the options that we've come up with, and we have to comply, I think, with state law. So that's a limitation, but I think there's a reasonable proposal on the table. So, City Solicitor, would you like to comment?
Sure. So my office, we were tasked with trying to draft something about the firework issue from last summer. I mean, it's clearly an enforcement nightmare sometimes for the patrol officers and the police department. So as you know, it's criminal to have fireworks. Do the cops always find and have the evidence after the fact of who performed it? They do show up. under the fining system, the Commonwealth maximizes its fines by 150. Well, we did a little legal research and found that we could use our noise ordinance and the 21D statute. There's no case law against it that allows us to fine up to $300. I think what we wanted to draft is something that would put a little meat into this. So we drafted that the first offense would be $300. And we were responding to what Councilor Taylor wanted, that if, you're going to go out and spend $300 on the fireworks, then you're also going to be fined $300. We need a deterrent here, right? And so, what's nice about the 21D system and in the city of Chelsea is if you don't pay your fines, you don't get a parking sticker. If you don't pay your fines, you may not get your license or your permits. The problem with the 21D system is that we can't really lien these fines, like 40U tickets. But it's still a fine that people come and whenever they want a service from the city, they have to be in good standing with the city. So we thought this would help to deter the use of illegal firearms throughout the city of Chelsea.
Okay. Any other questions? Councilor Robinson?
Well, I think, for me, I think it goes to education. And I think that somewhere before Memorial Day, we should be hitting citywide with information in regards to the fireworks and what the fines and stuff will be. I mean, we have not tried that approach in the past. I think it might be a good way to let people know that we're not going to stand for what happened here last summer. And one of the ways that we can do that is we got to put the information out to people before they engage in lighting off fireworks. And I think we got to do it in an educational way, and we got to hit, citywide and let people know. We do not want to see this happen, during the summer and disturbing people who are getting together and having barbecues and, kids trying to sleep at night. I know a few times late at night in my area got woken up at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock with fireworks going off, and I thought it was very inappropriate. So I think that we need to educate people that we were not going to stand for what happened last summer, and we got to put out information, whether we got to take out ads in the local newspapers, letting people know, and stories about it. I think that's one of the ways we need to approach it.
I agree. Councilor Robinson, I think even doing a public service, video and putting it out on social media and the website, for people, and both in English and in Spanish, I think you're right. I mean, you have to inform people that this change is coming, so please don't do it. I mean, it's the purpose isn't to fine people. The purpose is to stop the actions. So, thanks.
Councilor Lopez?
Yes, I'm in support of this ordinance that Councilor Taylor is bringing up. I think last year there was too many fireworks at all hours of night. Some of us work and get up early in the morning, and like Councilor Robinson said, there was children trying to put to sleep, and they couldn't sleep because of that. Elderly people. I got complaints from people from the soldiers' home, the veterans, and it was too much. And I think it is time to try to tell, the people that have some considerations, and I'm in support of this.
Councilor Brown?
Thank you, Mr. President. Can you guys hear me, ladies, also?
We can hear you.
Yeah, I want to just thank Councilor Taylor for this year. I know early on we worked on trying to get something together, but I know there was a lot of residents, and I believe some of them are on the line tonight, that was very active in bringing awareness and locations of where these firework displays was taken off. Also want to commend the police department because Sammy Mojica, we worked very hard with him and the chief last year trying to track these folks down. They were going one place, they caught up on that the police was, trying to tail them and catch them, and they started moving around. But it was very much a nuisance of this spot, a nuisance last year. It was just so hard on everyone because, as you know, we were all going through the height of the pandemic. Folks nationally was dealing with it. But I just think, as we prepare, as the city solicitor states with the finding and stuff, I think it's very important just to add that part that if you are a resident of the city of Chelsea and you get fined and you don't pay your fine, when you come before us for any type of services that's linked to that name that's been fined, that you'll be responsible to do that. I think that's one way of cutting down on it. I hope and pray this year we don't go through what we did last year with all those firecrackers in the work. And we're so grateful that no one got hurt. Other cities, people got hurt. So we're grateful that no one got hurt. But I think it's as Councilor Robinson said, it's an educational moment. It's a learning moment. We learned that, a lot of folks, they just couldn't deal with it. They couldn't take it. It was something in violation of our noise ordinance. And we just should really let people know this is something serious that the city is really cracking down on, and from here on out, whether it's for Memorial Day or whatever, you're going to be fined if you're caught with these fireworks. And, I think we should do, I think Cheryl said the first finding was $300. What's the second fine? I wasn't clear what the second one would be, if the first one was the most heavy one. I'm not sure what the second one would be. If she can answer that, that would be great.
Through you, Chair, the maximum we can fine is $300. So the second one would be $300 and so on and so on.
I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Naomi Zabit.
Thank you. I have a question for Taylor and the city solicitor. Trying to figure out this, were you in collab with the police at all in terms of how they will approach finding people? I know in general, Chief Kai's read it automatically. So what Councilor Robinson is educating, I think it's important. But then just in terms of the police going when there are people who are setting fireworks, if they're going to be 3 strikes, you're out. Is it going to be they're going to give a warning, like what they're doing with people, or they automatically just going to give the $300? And I know also what risen is that police will be called and they'll go, the kids or whomever are off on scooters. So it's often difficult to actually really ascertain where the fireworks are. So my question is, how much has been between you and the police department determining their approach, giving out fines or giving warning?
So clearly, the relationship between the residents and the police department is not that they want to go out and just give out fines all the time. So that's the you know what I mean? And they could issue the, you know what I mean? They could arrest. So, and they don't want to arrest people either. I don't know how they plan on approaching and enforcing this. I mean, they've been, our enforcement, one of the departments that enforces the noise ordinance. It's tough because you got to be there. I mean, it's like the big parties next door that are into 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So they try to have a relatively good relationship with the residents who are also setting off the fireworks, never mind the residents who are calling in all the time. I'm sure once this ordinance passes, the chief will enforce whatever ordinance that we have in the city and try to. But I really haven't had much discussion with him as to the final draft.
Thank you.
If there's no further questions from my colleagues, at this time, I recognize that there is a resident here who came here tonight, so if you'd like to approach the microphone, state your name and your address and any comment you have for this council.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joel Romero Martinez. I'm from 24 College Street. I've been a Chelsea resident for almost 40 years, I want to say, close to 40 years. I know a few of you here for many years. This has been an ongoing problem for many years in our city. But recently, the past 3 or 4 or 5 years, and especially last summer, just went berserk, went crazy. I made a few phone calls to the police department. Again, I live up the street. I'm in the center of Chelsea. People doesn't have consideration. That's what it comes down to. And I agree with both of you. We need to educate people, first and foremost. We never see any advertising about, hey, we're going to find, which is good thing, and I applaud you for doing this, because we just fed up with this thing. I mean, it just get to the point that you just can't sleep. Can't sleep. And then even your own neighbors are out there on the 4th of July. I mean, fine, if you want to do the 4th of July, I might give you a break, but you started a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before that. So it just get too much. So educate the city, educate the people. That's good. If they don't get it, then it comes to fine. There's $300 that you're going to find. Give it to them over and over until we stop. I mean, we all need to celebrate. Right? 4th of July is a big thing. So it's our independence. So we have to celebrate. But consider it. You have to have consideration for your fellow residents. So again, I applaud all of you for doing this, and I hope we get something done for this coming summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? No, council. Who? John Burns and Beth Novak. Oh, I'm sorry. I see that we have John Burns, who is online, and Beth Novak. So if either one of you would like to make a comment, you want to, okay, I'll recognize. Let me unmute. You can unmute yourself, John.
Sounds good. Can you hear me, Roy?
We can hear you.
Excellent. Yeah, I just wanted to thank Councilor Taylor and the other councilors who were in support of this. I submitted a letter to the City Council earlier this year on this topic. Basically, it's unreasonable to be woken up at 3 in the morning several nights in a row for fireworks. It's even more unreasonable to have our parks and streets completely trashed with all the leftovers after the fireworks have gone off. This city council has gone through significant effort to put a plastic bag ban in place, to remove nips from the stores, all partially, at least in part, to reduce the amount of trash in this city, and to have fireworks going off like they were last year, and to find the parks in the state that they were left in, is just quite unreasonable. So thank you to all the councilors that are in support of pushing this forward.
Thank you, John. Ms. Beth Novak, do you have a comment or just?
Yes, I would like to speak. Beth Novak, 126 Bloomingdale Street. And I want to reiterate what others have said. Thank you very much for having this subcommittee and for addressing this issue. I have been very vocal in the city for several years now, and I feel like the problem that I have is that because it wasn't addressed, it just kept building and building. I understand that last year might have been a little bit of an oddity, but it really did keep building and building and building for many years. Chief Kais has gotten many, many emails from me over the years, and I just think there needs to be, I agree with with the education aspect, but the enforcement really does need to step up. I multiple times I have called the police and they have not been dispatched when fireworks are continuing to go off in the same location. And it's a little frustrating because they go off for half an hour, 45 minutes from the same intersection, and yet nobody is dispatched to go over there. So I think that the enforcement issue has to be ramped up as well. But I do appreciate everything that you guys are doing and hoping to, alleviate this problem in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Seeing no other comments, I'll allow Councilor Taylor to make his closing statements, and then we'll end this meeting. Councilor Taylor?
So, I intend to ask for this to be pulled out of conference in the next meeting, and I really would like everyone's support on changing the ordinance to allow for a $300 fine on any offense for fireworks, and to allow both the not just the police but the firefighters and inspectional services to issue tickets as well. I just think that we deal with a lot of issues in this city, but I've never gotten more public response on any issue like I did on this one. I really believe that this should be a unanimous vote. I think that there is a real public support for this like I've never seen. So I would ask for your support when the time comes. Thank you.
I'm going to end, but I just want to say the following. I know that the question was raised by Councilor Zabit, and even though the chief was not here tonight to talk about enforcement, based on the professionalism that the chief has and the department has, I have full confidence that his men, who do a lot of community work and know the city, that they will use their discretion as best suits them. I'm sure that there will be times when they may end up responding and issuing fines, and other times it may end up being a choice at that decision. I know that they're not there to cause financial harm to anyone, but just to make sure that the knuckleheads are not destroying the peace and quiet that sometimes we need. And so with that being said, I think that we're in good hands, not only with this on the books, but also with the department that we have and those who are responding out there. So I look forward to this coming up for a vote, and thank you, everybody, for attending tonight and your comments, particularly the residents. It's always great to have residents come out and speak on matters that are in front of the council, and I appreciate it. With that being said, this meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you.